In the equity market and cross-asset, the story of the week for some people has been this massive shift into cannabis stocks, really chasing up Tilray and then chasing it back down again. Let's get the update on what a week it's been. Bloomberg's Romain Bostic weighing in. Romain.
Yeah, John, I mean, we had a tremendous run up those first 3 days, giving back some of those gains the last couple of days. I want to touch on something that Sarah Ponzak mentioned earlier today. This is the fourth most traded stock of the week, and I just want to put that into perspective. About $15 billion of Tilray shares changed hands Monday through Thursday. It has a market cap at the end of yesterday of about $16 billion. To put that in perspective, Apple shares about $27 billion worth of shares traded hands. So, of course, they have a market cap of about $1 trillion. And then I want to turn your attention real quick to what's going on in the options market here. Options in Tilray have more than open interest has more than doubled this week. And, of course, that big blue line there on the far right, though those are put options. About 220,000 outstanding open interest contracts now on the put side, only about 122 on the call side. So definitely a little bit more bearish sentiment, but if you're concerned about the sort of a bubble bursting here and wrecking the whole market, keep in mind that the total market value of all the cannabis companies combined is about $35 billion. That's about a 1/10 of 1% of the $32 trillion U.S. equity market cap.
A lot of investors chasing a very small thing. Romain Bostic, great to catch up with you. With me here in New York still is Luke Coward. Joining us is Bloomberg's Joe Weisenthal. I want to get to a quote from you, Luke, in your writing this week. Marijuana Inc. is making more headlines than Crypto Corp as the stocks of companies linked to the cannabis craze get caught up in the mania that sent prices surging. References to cannabis in news articles nearly doubled the amount mentioned in crypto earlier this week. What is going on?
It's a nice passing of the torch, as one kind of speculative bubble fizzles out, another rises from the ashes. And a lot of it has to do with, I think, the realized volatility difference. Bitcoin's been downright boring. Realized volatility, it's near the lowest level of the year. And Tilray itself is more volatile than Bitcoin's been since 2014. So it's something that moves, it's something that's interesting, and it's something that's made a lot of people money and then lost it.
Is there any evidence that the same participants chasing crypto are the ones chasing cannabis today, Joe?
I think there's a lot of anecdotal and circumstantial evidence. I always like reading message boards online, and I go on Reddit and I look at, there's the weed stocks Reddit.
What does it say?
No, it's just clearly it's the same dudes chasing both. Like it's so similar, and there's such obvious crossover in like the demographics of people who are into this stuff that I can't prove it. But I have zero doubt in my mind that there's a lot of money that just went from one into the other.
We had Bitcoin, and then we had a load of other coins follow up, and then there was a lot more money chasing a lot more coins. Right now, how limited are the proxies to play the cannabis story through, Luke?
Very, and I think that's one of the reasons why you hit it earlier in the head, is there's a lot of interest because it's very few names, and you're seeing big moves because there's very few names. So you got your Tilray, you've got your Aurora that was mentioned kind of in as a possible Coke target, you've got Canopy. Those are kind of the big three in the space. You also have HMMJ, which is a Canadian weed ETF that doesn't own Tilray. And
why not?
From what we can tell, there's an interview done on BNN, Bloomberg, our partner, and they will be being added to that at some point. So one thing that's been interesting, and I think Joe's flagged this too, is that there's been a kind of trade-off and divergence between the ETF and Tilray. So the correlation between the two is negative. So it's not like people are betting on
flight to Tilray.
Yeah, it's like Tilray's the big. Are you going to dominate, be the Amazon of pot, or is somebody else going to catch up to Tilray?
My second news feed outside of the Bloomberg terminal is Joe's Twitter account. And earlier this week in Joe's Twitter account pointed out one of the big holders in Tilray and how much of it he holds. And it gives you an idea, and you can give me the color, it just gives you an idea of actually how much money was chasing a stock that was only so big. But within that, the available of stock that you could actually chase was really limited too.
Right, exactly. So I think at one point Tilray had about a market cap of $20 billion, but a huge chunk, over 70%, is owned by this one VC or PE fund, Privateer, which is backed by Peter Thiel. So there's very little stock. And so I think, remember last year, as you mentioned, we saw all those new coins, the wall of money comes in, meets the wall of supply, and that's how bubbles end. We're going to see secondaries for some of these companies and new IPOs of companies only tangentially related.
And you're already seeing kind of the kingmaker effect play off in that a company yesterday signed a deal with Tilray, a non-binding agreement to maybe help it make a weed product down the road. Shares of that company, NextGenX, were up 75%, up over 80 at one point yesterday. Even as Tilray is crashing, people want exposure to the space.
They want exposure because I wonder, they just can't find volatility elsewhere, Joe. The VIX right now with an 11 handle, for some people that defined the story of crypto. It was just a place to find some,
it's a place
some
to have
volatility.
Fun. The other thing that's really important is that any bubble has to have a great story behind it. And so crypto had this thing, maybe this is going to be the future of finance and money, and you can't really disprove that. And so that was exciting. Maybe this will be the next alcohol or tobacco. The thing that I find amazing is, like, I was looking at the numbers. The Canadian legal marijuana market, it's expected to be 5 million. The U.S. market, like the North American market in 8 years or something, is expected to be like 35 billion. So you look at the entire market cap of just 3 U.S. listed companies, and unlike, say, with the internet bubble in the 90s, the crypto bubble, it's like, wait, these numbers actually aren't that big.